All right, playing without LeBron. So let's spend a quick second on this. All right. Yesterday, there were some of the chats. LeBron was, it was doubtful that he was going to play. And then the Lakers eventually made it official. I get the concept. Let me play with the concept for a quick second. I think there's some Laker fans that are out there saying, and I've said this before on the show, when LeBron doesn't play in a game, I have curiosity. Here's the timing isn't good for the Lakers, and here's why. The problem is if you said, "Hey, LeBron's not playing tonight," and I knew Reeves was 100% healthy, he's questionable. I knew Jared Vanderbilt was on the team. I knew they had options with Christian Wood. I knew they had another big in Jackson Hayes. And I knew all the guys that the Lakers needed were available. Okay, it makes it a little bit more interesting, right? If there's one thing that the Lakers have had all year, and I'm not going to sit here because I think some people have made more of an excuse of it. I feel like I've made less of an excuse of it. But they've had some injuries and they haven't been healthy all year. And to just not have LeBron and people be like, yeah, let's see what that looks like. It's probably not going to look that great. I mean, can there be certain players that step up? Sure. Okay, I'll get into that in just a second. And that will come when I actually preview the game. But the concept of playing without LeBron, I think what it says more than anything else, I think what it says more than anything else when I hear Laker fans say it, I think there's a little bit of, well, what would it look like? Sammy Long did his preview video yesterday. So previewing Lakers and the Wolves. And one of the things that he mentioned, he said, yeah, but really knowing what the Lakers are without LeBron is basically saying, Bron, how much you making? You making 50 million? Cool. Well, can we go find another player that's worth $50 million in the NBA and swap you for that player? And then let's see what that looks like. I'm assuming somebody making $50 million, if he's not an all-star, he's hopefully close to it or in that conversation. I think that's what Lakers are referring to when they say, all right, Bron's not playing. Let's see what it looks like. But the issue with the Lakers is, A, they're not healthy enough to not have a guy like LeBron James out there. And B, it's not like he's not there and you're replacing him and his 50 million with somebody else. So that's obviously the disadvantage that the Lakers have. But I get the concept. The concept is, what would this team look like if Bron's not there? We saw it a couple nights ago against the Portland Trailblazers, but everybody knows, watching the Lakers without Portland or against Portland, what are you really going to see? You're not going to see much. You're not going to see anything. Portland's not trying to win games. Okay, watching them tonight against Minnesota, that's a challenge. That's a completely different game. I remember after the Lakers played Portland, there were not like a lot of people are cheering for the guy, I would say, but D'Lo dropped 28 and 14, and most of my comments were like, yeah, but that's a meaningless game. That's when D'Lo drops 28 and 14. So I kind of get, what people were saying there. So this is going to be interesting tonight because now D'Lo is going to have to go up against a real team, a team that actually plays defense, that is trying to win, that is trying to prove that the trade that they made was the right trade, which I still have a lot of doubts on. So that's what I think there's curiosity on tonight, is because it's going to look different because Bron's not there. If AD's not there, I don't think there's one Laker fan that's sitting back and saying, well, I'm curious to see what this looks like. I think we already know. I think the fact that Bron is not there, there are Laker fans that say, okay, well, somebody else step up. Will the defense be better because Bron isn't in some of these stretches? Will the ball move more freely? Will D'Lo now drop 10, 12 dimes, something along those lines? Will everything work through Anthony Davis? So I think those questions are fair. Something that I will say is a little bit concerning to me. And yesterday I was talking to I had Geeter on, Chris McGee. By the way, I went back and listened to that. If you guys didn't get a chance to hear Geeter and I on the pod yesterday, that guy's freaking hilarious. He's hilarious. He actually brings out, he makes the show so loose, and just his personality is really good. When he said that him and Ori went ass to ass is how he described it, not knowing that they were both backing each other down. Not one was playing defense. It's the funniest shit I've heard in a long time. One thing I will say that's a little bit concerning, and having that conversation with Geeter yesterday, I'm like, Geeter, does it concern you at all that, because the news had just come out that, we had a couple days ago, LeBron wasn't going to attend practice for personal reasons. And then yesterday, the news started coming out. Yeah, he's probably going to be doubtful. Shams and Dave McMenamin had reported that. And then, eventually, by the time our show was done, the news became official that LeBron wasn't going to be playing in the game. It's a little concerning, and I'll tell you why. He didn't play against Portland. Lakers haven't played. That means he hasn't played since last Friday. And I can't remember off the top of my head who. Oh, that was the Atlanta game. Remember the Atlanta game? Lakers lost in OT, had a chance to win that game. Kind of some poor execution towards the end. They lose against Atlanta. He hasn't played since that game. That was a week ago. 6 days off was not enough for LeBron. He needs 8 days off. Next game coming up is going to be against the Memphis Grizzlies coming up on Sunday. That part's a little concerning to me. Just because of what I just said. You never get 6 days off in the league. Once the regular season starts, once preseason starts, in early October, really the only time off you get is the All-Star game. And Bron has been to every All-Star game in his entire career. I actually heard, I was listening to NBA Sirius XM radio. It's actually an interesting conversation. Will Bron make it this year? Will this be the first year that LeBron James is not an all-star? I'm sure we can probably find, if it's not 12 players, close to it, that are deserving to be in the all-star game, but that's a separate conversation. That's a little concerning, right? You got 6 days off, and that wasn't enough. You need 8 days off. And this has nothing to do with LeBron. It just more has to do with his availability. Is something else going on with LeBron? Is that right foot soreness worse than we thought it was? Is right or left foot? I can't remember off the top of my head. So that part of it, I think, is definitely a little bit concerning. I mentioned that there are some Laker fans that want to see how the Lakers play. Well, let me kind of simplify this for everybody. You got to have Reeves tonight, who's questionable. AD must be great tonight against a good defensive Minnesota Timberwolves team. And D'Lo has to be great. All three of those have to happen in order to just be in this game tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So it's going to be a tough game, and we'll get into the actual game here in just a second, because that's one thing I don't feel like I've done enough of, is actually talk about the upcoming game, a little bit of a preview. So we'll do that here as Lakers take on the Timberwolves. But Bron not there, a little bit of concern for me that 6 days wasn't enough. He's going to get 8 days. And if all those Laker fans that are saying, hey, you know what? I'm curious. I want to see when Bron's not there. Cool. Austin Reeves has to play. Anthony Davis has to be great. And D'Lo has to be great before I even mention anything else. If one of those three things don't happen, I don't know if this is going to be much of a game. Remember, last time Lakers played the Timberwolves, it was 109-80. They lost by 29 points. All right, let me see some of your comments here, and then we'll keep the show going. Got a lot of people here in the beginning saying top of the morning. Good morning to everybody. Happy Friday, Slee. Somebody, okay. Brandon's predicting a Lakers upset. All right, Brandon, I'll take that. I got some people saying, Slee, you were late. Slee, LBJ out for personal reasons. Look, I don't know what's going on, but I know that the guy's in his 22nd year in the NBA. And if you're 22 years in the NBA, sometimes you just got to take time off that other people are not going to take. And I don't think anybody's questioning, hey, is LeBron, is he committed? Is this guy, is he being soft? You've never associated any of that stuff with LeBron. 27K, big time Slee. Thank you, brother. This is just the start. Okay, let me just look here on some of this LeBron conversation here. We've been watching this bullshit for 6 years. Do me a favor, D-HUD, expand on that. I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor on some of this stuff. So, D-HUD, you put that comment in. Tell me exactly what you mean. When you guys put comments in, the more you can make it a conversation, the better off I am to use it as something that we could talk about. So, D-HUD, give me a little bit more. What bullshit exactly are you talking about? Is it the front office? Is it this? Let me know what you got there.